Hello, my dear readers of my book ABC of Truth and the viewers of my channel. v.Kulanov is here. Today we will talk about the evidence that St. Petersburg was not built by Peter the Great. You already know that the faith of Rus before the arrival of the Romanovs was astrophysical and atheistic. Reincarnation was considered as a physical fact. Our past is connected with the science, and we didn't live in the woods and pray to the wheel. It was His Holiness the Second Reich who invented the slavism. There was a teaching of the words of Yan and Yin with our atheistic images of each letter, stolen images of icons which were later used in tarot cards. The cross or the Apostle Andrew is a ray for determining coordinates. The equilateral cross of cousin ray means standing. Ra is the ecliptic. 13 is the number of the real constellation. 66.6 the angle of rotation of the planet's axis in the ecliptic plane. The Second Reich came in the form of the Holy Inquisition of the Nicene Reform and changed everything, baptized Rus. Christianstvo became Christianity, to which even poor kids were retaught. This is the way they forgot their culture. What is more, we have forgotten what the motherland and the fatherland are. I have to repeat it in the movie, so that we could eliminate such irresponsible people who, being in their matrix of obscurantist knowledge, start to spew bile without an effort even to learn. If you don't want to watch it, just pass it by. This video is not for you in this case. There's a lot of things behind us. I used to start with 10 books, then 100 that I couldn't even afford to buy envelopes for, which I glued while sitting. Then people helped me to print the first 1,000 of books. About 4,000 printed books have already been sold. I took a considerable loan. A lot of money was spent on restoring old Russian Old Believer icons, images of letters, restored Russian containers, images with the appendix of a book that deciphered all the icons and determined all the canons of prediction. By purchasing books and boxes, carriage of images of Tara, each of you participates in the restoration of the Russian images, the images of Rus, its culture, homeland and fatherland. The funds and the donations are later used to produce materials opening people's eyes. Our task is to leave real books of knowledge in the family of everyone who considers oneself a Rus person. Give books to your friends, bring light and spread our culture. A lot of questions have been received about the method of distribution. At the end of the movie there will be a link to the movie of my wife's channel on this topic. Subscribe, there will be many more interesting things ahead. Today we will talk about two icons which prove that Peter the Great did not build St. Petersburg. The first icon is the resurrection, pokrov, which is correctly called to carry hay to the fortress for shelter, voz kresenie in Russian, under the roof of pokrov. Saint Xenia is just an image of the pour of blanks. I have already described this in detail in previous movies, where this hay was stored and the participation of this hay on Peter's hay market in Christmas. I have told a lot about this. The rising sun on the Christmas day penetrates its rays through St. Isaac's Cathedral with its open gates and rises by the face of the bronze horseman. On my channel, I have shown many times the connection between objects of ancient Rus with the whole world by atrophic phenomena. Some obscene channels using the knowledge and methods from my book have already managed to pervert the same St. Isaac's Cathedral. At first, when they were friends, they wrote praises, calling out bad words to similar perverted thieves. But then they did the same. All liars will be punished. Have no doubt. The forces of our families, of our rod, are behind us. I will repeat about one of the real purposes of St. Isaac's Cathedral. The rising sun on Christmas Day penetrates its rays through St. Isaac's Cathedral with open gates and rises by the face of the bronze horseman. How old are the icons and how old is Peter? The icons were 3 times older than Peter. Now, a few words about the second icon. I have told you that, in addition to the women's summer on September the 1st, there is a men's summer on March the 1st. I even made a film about the physical phenomenon in which the sun rose in the perspective of Nevsky Prospect on the first day of spring, March the 1st. In the next film, I even uploaded the icon and called it Men's Summer. What did I say about it? Men's Summer, Pascha, Candlemas, Aquarius, March, Matthew, Levi, Easter. By the average position of the sun on the icon of women's summer led Martyr to the heavenly temple of the men's summer. Honestly, I thought someone would guess what I didn't say. Nothing like that. Just silence. No one tried to compare physical fact with an icon. But there's a lot of these hidden things in my books and in my movies. Can you hear me now? There are a lot of unsaid facts, a huge number of them. Explore it for yourself. If you don't want to explore, let me tell you about it more. Help me to distribute my videos to all the resources every day. I spend a lot of time distributing my movies every day. Let's type the words All Believers icon, Candlemas, in the image search engine on the internet. For a clear example, I opened about 50 tabs on the internet specifically to show you this martial triangle, the prospects of the Nevsky Prospect. The first icon clearly shows. It seems like there is a table, a perspective. The table, we need to determine the vertical and the horizontal position. Looked it up, maybe it's the correct way to draw, but it's not known how it was originally. Icons are repainted many times with each other. There are also new icons. I'll show you now. The old icons are here as well. Here and there it can be clearly traced that there is a triangle between 2 houses. A triangle with the perspective of the Nevsky Prospect. On all the icons, almost allegedly, the Mother of God brought a baby to the Star Temple and she gives it to a man who is a god or some other representative. This is unknown. In fact, the Queen of Heaven, I have already told you about it, Chrestoyan. This is now Christine transmits to the earth, to Star Temple, Kula Atlantica. Well, she transmits men's summer, the beginning of the men's summer. Perspectively, the sun rises on the Nevsky Prospect, and we know about March the 1st. The same happens if the Mother of God stretches out her hands, it means she clearly takes it. The same thing. The left side of Nevsky Prospect and the right side of Nevsky Prospect, a perspective that has been turned over the time into tents, roofs, anything. Here, for sure, there is still a ruler traced by such divisions. I told you how the sun moves exactly on March the 1st.
Именно 1 марта в одном году в одном
One
месте
year
стоит,
it rises in one place, the other year it rises in some other place, the same is with the third year, and the fourth does not fit here. It adds a day and again drives it in this corridor of the perspective.
Следующая икона,
The next icon,
уже перемалеванная.
already
Современные
repainted.
иконы с тех перемалеванных
A
старых.
modern icon from those repainted old ones.
В виде рушника. Рушником на самом деле много
And
что было
here's the form of a towel. The towel was actually used to draw a lot of things, starting with the serpent.
Георгий Победоносец, которого колет.
The serpent is in the picture George the Victorious, which he will prick in the icon with the constellation Orpheus, as I told you about.
В иконе с созвездием змееносец я рассказывал. Вот тут уже наврано правдоподобно. Она отдает, потому
And
что
here the lies are already trustworthy.
как это назвать? Царицу
It
небесную
gives because it
перемалеванную.
pulls, I don't know what to call it, it is drawn,
Но со старой
the
иконы
Queen of Heaven, but from the
и
old
ведающие, что
icons.
это надо спрятать, оставили
Ignorant,
улику.
being ignorant that it should be hidden,
Тут,
they
видимо,
left
большое было,
a clue.
поделили,
Here,
замуровали.
apparently, it was a big deal. Everything was divided and covered
Вообще
up.
стену поставили,
Here,
чтоб видно
in
было.
general, a wall was put
Какую-то
up
тут
so that it was
таинство
not
сделали в
visible.
виде занавески.
Some kind of
Полировка.
sacrament was made in the form of a curtain. Apparently,
Тут
the calibration was going
остался,
on. Here, the triangle remained from the never perspective.
замалевали, сделали
It was
кругом.
repainted over and replaced with a dome. Of course, there will be different layer of paint. You know, paints may burn out in different ways. Paints leave, oxidize, change its texture, color, and so on. We have to paint as if something was allegedly there.
Опять треугольник. Снова
Then again
снова
come the
скала.
triangle and the scale.
Ну, это уже современный вид иконы.
Well, this is a modern type of an icon, the modern view of the icon.
Треугольника.
There is a scale there and no triangle. It was repainted over apparently,
Что надо делать?
and someone figure out what to do. They
Поставили
put up
стену,
a
но
wall
что
here,
дальше?
but the scale was also repainted over.
Вот икона с праздничного Софийского собора, которая...
Here's an
была
icon from the
Тара.
festive St. Sophia Cathedral, which is in the Tara set.
Жестко перемалеванная.
You see, this is the same
В
thing.
иконах
Everything was totally redone and remade.
замалеванные женщины в
This
мужчинах.
icon was repainted over again. All icons contain about 75% of women who were repainted into the man.
Старая икона.
And this is an old icon.
Подписывают, что это вот это.
You see, they sign that this one means this, but this is actually not like this. But just read what is written here.
Очередной шатер.
All the crosses have already been repainted.
Лежат.
Another tent where the card
Туз.
is Tuzera, apparently the Tuxtla.
Современная икона.
This is the modern icon.
Новые рисуют, не знают, что рисуют.
They draw a lot, but they are just artists and they don't really know what they draw.
Забабахали.
The same thing can be seen here with the pyramid. There are so many clues, but they're ignorant of them. They destroyed the real knowledge of the real Bruce.
Тоже как-то.
They somehow perverted it all.
Тут уже в две пирамиды, но, видимо, одна
There are
была
already
такая.
two pyramids here. Well, apparently
С косами.
there was one that was not included
И снова
here.
бородой.
It had
Царица небесная.
scythes, and it had two braids and a new beard, the Queen of Heaven.
Новый современный вид иконы.
It's the Queen of Heaven, indeed.
Новый
Stop.
современный вид.
The new modern look of the icon.
Новый современный.
It is new and modern.
Смотрите, вот.
Now it's old.
Святые люди,
Look,
знающие
here are
святые, и видите,
saint or
нарисован
святые.
свет.
Svet is light in Russian, you know. And you see, they are drawn in the same color.
Тебе Санкт-Питер.
And here's the meaning of the word light. Here's the light Peterbook for you.
Остался.
A new interpretation.
Тут видите, как сделали.
There's a shot left here. Here you can see how they did it. They took a common roof from a building that was being completed, apparently,
Мастера, умельцы.
and they built it up with a common roof. Such master craftsmen.
Даже не надо
New
старых икон,
interpretation
новые иконы
again.
посмотрите.
You see, you don't even need the old icons to see it. Just look at the new icons and you see that they have been redrawn, even if it is smeared and distorted. It has been killed 30 times. March the 1st is Man's Summer, and it is painted on all the icons of Candlemas.
Фреска очередная.
Here's the icon of St. Sophia Cathedral.
Тут резная уже.
It has been repainted, but with some fragments of the truth. Another mural. It's already carved. Then again, the pyramids, they don't even know what they're doing. They give themselves away. Please, watch us. Watch how we are lying to you, people.
Пожалуйста, вот она старинная. Видите, дырка?
Here's an old one for you. Do you see the holes?
Шпаклевочка держалась лучше.
This is how to make the new putty hold better. And here you are.
Вот, пожалуйста. Главное, что вот это
The main thing, this is the Queen of Heaven, and not the priest here.
Иисус и Сын,
Jesus, Jesus, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So as they say, yes, and the old believers, the real ones, they say, Jesus, the Son, Holy Spirit. Can you feel the difference?
Пожалуйста, здесь уже в люстру перемалевано.
And here you are. This is already redrawn into the chandelier,
Интересно получилось.
and it turned out to be really interesting. So it looks like calibration.
Сделали
Two
всё это
buildings
внутри.
have been done so that it is already hung inside, and there were once exterior walls, streets, and here allegedly this action took place in temples. Hang a curtain here or there, and you can fool a whole crowd of people with this. The same thing with the triangle.
Пожалуйста. На улице же действие происходит. Зачем?
Oh, come on, this action is taking place on the street. Why did you personally lie on the previous icon? This is some kind of desperate love in an icon. The fallen tower has been turned into a bed. The action takes place on the street.
Извращенцы же, говорю.
I tell you, they are real perverts.
Тоже маленький совсем осколок.
This is already a very small fragment left.
Вот красивая икона, да?
That's a beautiful icon, right?
Помните видео, как
Remember the video
наблюдалось
as
с
all this action was observed
Адмиралтейства.
from the Admiralty, from the central tower of the Admiralty, which stands at the fountain.
В перспективу,
We looked at the prospect of Nevsky Prospect.
видите, как все это
You see
завуалировали.
how it all has been wheeled.
Вот, пожалуйста.
And here you are.
Да, наступило мужье лето родилось.
Yes, it's men's summer again. Men's summer has come exactly. on March the
Масоны
1st.
знают, но не мы.
The Masons know it, but we don't.
Пожалуйста.
Here you are again.
На самом деле открыл первый
In
попавшийся
fact, I
иконы.
opened the first icons I
Есть
came
совсем
across.
замалённые, непонятно вообще там
There are
что
some that are completely
нарисовано.
covered
Вот
up
эти вот
and repainted,
треугольнички
but
есть, все
it's not
показал.
clear what is drawn there at all.
Сейчас тут
But
появится
these
такие
are where the triangles are. I showed it all. Now only about 50 icons have been flipped through.
Самое главное, что треугольник присутствует
Everything
везде
has already been modified. The most important thing is that the triangle is everywhere here. Here it is one shape,
Стояние линий.
there it is of another shape.
Стояние линий.
The table is a symbol of the horizon. Stall means to stand, the standing of the lines.
Иконы я смотрел.
Okay, here we are. How old are these icons? Well, I looked up at these icons from the 10th, 11th, 12th, 16th, and the 17th century. In the 17th century, they already started to be disfigured and to be redrawn.
Видите, как
And
позже
here's another triangle.
и как
Here
символично
you can see it developed greatly.
ведание этих знаний.
The knowledge became symbolic.
Прям втесали туда круглую башенку, прям построили
They
её
put a
так ровно
round tower
посередине.
right there, built it
Круглую
straight,
башенку под этот
and connected the round tower exactly to the
Невского
perspective
проспекта.
of the
Ах, как
Nevsky
зарисовали
Prospect.
они умело так.
Just look how skillfully
Два
they
плоских
sketched two
здания
flat
между ними,
buildings,
круглое, прям
and between
встало
them
так
a round
красиво. Как
straight, and it
настроили.
became so beautiful.
Да, иконы
Yes,
старые,
the icons are
можно
old.
разобраться,
You can sort them out.
можно подать на них в суд, можно
You can
назначить
file a lawsuit
экспертизу,
against them.
если, конечно,
You can
успеем,
appoint
если
an
они, конечно,
expert
это всё не в
examination
очередной раз
if,
не
of
спалят.
course, we have time. If they, of course, do not burn down again.
На примерах все.
Let me show it by the examples.
Эта икона доказывает, что
This
Петр I
icon
не
proves
строил
that
Питер.
Peter the
На
Great
иконе Невский
did not
проспект
build
между
St.
двумя
Petersburg.
домами.
The
Треугольник,
icon shows Nevsky Prospect between two houses. The triangle is in the perspective. A table in the standing line is redrawn into the tent. How old are the icons and how old is the Roman of government? But the icons of Candlemas, or rather the reduction of man's summer, is more than 1,000 years old, and there are hundreds of such icons. Why Candleman's and reduction? I have told you about this 21 days ago. Just like that. Just take a little care and get a little knowledge, and life becomes more interesting. It's mindfulness. In one of the movies, I told you that there has never been a global flood in the 19th century, and some inattentive and ignorant people may ask me, why do you reject the obvious flood theory, and so on. Some ignorant people spoke up as I was only talking about the 19th century. Anyone who has read my book knows the real thing, not the theory, but the history of the mechanism of the apocalypse, with all the floods and backfields, fires and meltings globally on the entire planet, in the font of survival of which the traces were born. You won't find such a mechanism anywhere else. And anyway, why do I have to put all the information from the book in my movies? Some wish to satisfy their needs of curiosity, while others are here to restore Rus. Here everyone decides for themselves. This is the reason why in the movies there is only a half of the information. Many thanks to all people of honor who help to spread the knowledge. We bring the light and multiply with the mind. So that's the end of the movie. The ones who are interested in the predictive alignment with images of Tara in the authentic Rus, what it is, to see what it is, follow the link. Thank you for your attention, and may all the good come to your family.